to the cloud. You see? Okay, well, welcome to Yin Yoga. I am Beth, and I'm so happy to be able to practice with you in this moment. So let's sit up on a pillow or something comfortable. Your legs can be crossed or extended, whatever is comfortable for you. And let's start with just a quick little meditation, closing the eyes if you're comfortable, or you can just soften your gaze at something in front of you. And I'd like you to lengthen your spine so the head reaches towards your ceiling. And start to notice your breath. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, breathe in deeply. May notice the spine lengthens as you inhale. And exhale, release. Maybe soften the shoulders. Good. And again, breathing in. A long, slow, deep inhale. A long exhale. Settling your mind, settling your breath, quieting your body. Setting an intention for your practice. In this class, I'll be guiding you with ideas of Sankalpa. Sankalpa is Sanskrit, similar to intention setting with the new year. It's a little different, and I'll get into that with you. It's a little bit of a gentler approach to setting an intention and being compassionate and kind to yourself. So maybe the mantra you'll use tonight, something like, may I be happy and open to what life brings me. And I'll remind you of that as we go. May I be happy and open to what life brings me. You're welcome to open your eyes, or you can keep them closed as we warm up with the neck and the shoulders. So we'll drop our chin to chest, and then gentle rolls side to side. Take your gaze over your right shoulder, and then over the left shoulder, and back and forth a few times. Good. Shoulders up to the ears and down. And then let's roll them. So we'll roll them forward, up, and back. I just arrived in Hawaii on the Big Island yesterday, and it was a madhouse traveling, going the other way with the shoulders. And I should have known that the suitcases were all stacked up, and it was crazy just to drop off your bag. So I should have known that I wasn't going to be seeing my suitcase. And I did at least have some foresight, and I packed a little sundress and flip-flops and a bathing suit in my backpack. I pulled it out while I was in line. So I've been in that dress for 24 hours now because I still don't have my suitcase. So luckily for Ross and Target, we were able to go there today and got myself these lovely workout clothes for $35, a whole outfit. Saved me some money. Good job. Bring your hands up. Let's roll the wrists. Good. And then we're going to articulate fingers. Go nice and slow. And don't forget those thumbs. Nice. And a little stretch for our shoulders. So we're going to bring one hand across the body. Good. And you can start to incorporate your breath here. We'll inhale and exhale. You might bring it a little bit more across the body. And then perhaps arm up, hand to the elbow, and stretch. We tend to want to hold our breath here, so be sure to remind yourself to exhale. Good, and we'll go the other side. Nice. Right hand down on the mat, left hand reaches up. Inhale and exhale. If you have a block, you could have that under your hand. Feel some nice opening in side, body, and torso. Other side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, reach. Very nice. Let's bring those arms up. Inhale, and we're going to twist. As you exhale, draw the belly in and twist to one side. Release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Nice job. Now a little cat-cow. So this will be an exaggerated cat-cow. The chin will come to the chest, we'll round in the back, and we're going to also tilt in the pelvis. Round, and then open, come forward. And just move through that about 3 times. Very good. Okay, we'll come over onto all fours for tabletop position. Use a little pillow under my knees here since I'm on the hard floor. Good. So we'll continue with our cat-cow. We're going to lift the chin, arch the back, curl the toes under, get all 10 toes on the floor, and then round, push the floor away, chin to chest, round in the spine. So move through those 2 postures at your own pace. Good. A little hip stretch. So we'll start with the calf. So first, right foot to the floor behind you and stretch your calf muscle. And then you're going to take that right foot across behind you, that at an angle there, and you should feel a nice stretch in the left hip. Take a few breaths there, release, come back to all fours, and the left toe to the mat behind you, stretching the calf. The heel presses back, the toe is on the mat. And then we'll stretch the foot across the body and sit down into it, finding the stretch in the right hip. Very nice. All right, you're going to come back into a seated position, this time with the legs extended long. Good, let's squeeze that right leg in towards the body. Then we're going to drop the knee open. Foot is to the thigh. Got it? Good. Draw the belly in and start to lean forward. Soft bend here in your knee. And this is where you could use a block or a pillow. And we'll do our first little bit longer of a hold. Oops, I don't have my watch. My watch charger is in my suitcase somewhere between Denver and the big island of Hawaii. But I am happy. I am happy and open to all that life brings me. Right? Okay. There we go. Good job. So this is our first longer hold here. Remember, in our yin yoga practice, it's these longer holds targeting the connective tissue in the body, the fascial network, the ligaments, the tendons. So think about trying to soften our body where we're not engaged. So if you can somehow support your head, so that's why I like to use a pillow or a block. Maybe the elbows can rest on it and the head could rest in the hands. If that allows you to feel your edge. So your edge is that place of stretch, maybe a little bit of discomfort. So sometimes it takes a little bit of fidgeting and movement to find where that edge is for you. And it's going to be different each time you practice. But we find that edge, and then we commit to some stillness. We turn our focus to the breath, trying to quiet and calm our minds and our bodies. It's natural when we are uncomfortable to want to get out of that position or circumstance. So in this practice, there is a little bit of discipline. In a loving and compassionate way, we reassure ourselves that we are safe and we are calm. And we can always move out of the position if we need to, out of the shape, the asana. Or we can modify, adjust, change that shape, maybe add a little bit of a bend in the knee if it's not there. Feeling this stretch down the back of the legs, and then maybe your back is starting to open up. You're doing great. We'll just take a few more breaths here. Good. That was a 3-minute hold. So we're going to rise up, move your support to the side, and lift that head up towards the ceiling, lengthening in the spine. And then we'll bring the knee up, foot is flat on the ground, and we're going to add a twist here. So I have my right knee bent, my left arm is going to hug the knee in, lengthen in the spine, and then twist. Belly is squeezing in. And release. Extend the leg long. And now you might want to shake it out a little bit, bounce it out from our pose. Between our yin postures, we always take some counter movement, and that's really whatever feels good to you. Maybe you want to roll the ankles, point the toes. And see if you can observe and notice in the body any little shifts and changes already just from that first hold. And then we'll take it to the other side. So we'll bring that left leg in, squeeze it in, and then let the knee drop to the side. You can always use folded blankets or a pillow under the knee if you have any tenderness in the hip there. And then once you're ready, you'll come forward using your pillow or your blanket. You could also use a little rolled towel under the knee if that helps encourage a softer bend. And Noemi, if this one is just too much compression for you and you wanted to stretch in those legs, you could lay on your back and then extend the feet up, like a feet up the wall pose. Could do one leg at a time or both legs and use a strap or hold on. And then maybe that will allow a little more space for you, for your tender tummy. Breathe in long, deep inhales, and out through the nose, longer exhales. May I be happy and open to what life brings me. So in Sanskrit, the word Sankalpa means will, purpose, or determination. So it's like setting an intention, like a New Year's resolution, but with this little yogic twist. So it's looking really behind the goal. So let's say someone says I want to lose 20 pounds. Instead of just focusing and zeroing in on this weight, we look with the Sankalpa more at the behind the intention, looking at the behavior, and maybe thinking, well, what's behind the excess eating or the lack of activity? What are the emotions that come behind it? And then maybe coming up with alternatives. Maybe we're nurturing ourselves with ice cream or with cheese sticks, in my case. There's a lot of cheese. So what's another way that we can show ourselves compassion and show ourselves love and nurturing? Looking behind the intention, looking behind the behavior, underneath the behavior. And always treating ourselves with compassion, with love, with kindness. Good job. We're going to rise up here, take one more breath. Lengthen the spine, head reaching for the ceiling. Good. Foot to the ground, hug that knee in, and then you'll twist towards your legs. I'm hugging the left leg in, hooking my right arm around the leg, drawing the belly in, and twisting. Nice job. Soles of the feet together for a butterfly stretch. And again, a modification for this, you could lie on your back and have your feet together and knees open, or you could even go into a happy baby pose. I'll show you this one. So the feet are coming in closer to the body. We're stretching the insides of the legs. Often don't get much attention here. And then maybe if you have a block, you could rest that even on top of your feet or a folded blanket or pillow. I'm flying without the block today, but elbows to the feet, head resting into the hands. So try and find that first edge. Take a few breaths there. Notice the sensations. Does it feel like you're in a little too deep, or you're experiencing any kind of pain? Then you need to back out. Never want you in pain here. Pain would be a sharp or a burning, a stabbing sensation. There's definitely a difference between pain and discomfort. A little bit of discomfort, a little bit of aching or stretching, that's okay. And of course, any kind of cramping, anything like that, move out of the posture, sometimes shaking it out, and then you can often go back in after a cramp, coaxing the body into the shape. But if you can't, that's okay too. So Sankalpa explores what's behind the thought or the feeling, such as I crave ice cream when I'm feeling stressed or sad. So the intention would be set to become more aware or conscious of the craving, and then allow the feelings to arise and to pass, rather than filling up and responding right away to those cravings. And a Sankalpa also praises the nobility of the effort, rather than focusing on what you're doing wrong. So New Year's resolutions can leave people feeling guilty or self-hatred. The Sankalpa lets us look back and let go, maybe letting go of past behaviors and opening our hearts to new possibilities. Take a few more breaths here. When you're ready, you'll rise up and then shake out those legs. You can extend them long and bounce them out. And we'll do some windshield wiper counter movement here, feet hip distance apart. Drop your knees to one side and then to the other side. Good job. Let's flip around. We're going to lay down on the belly for Sphinx pose. Getting some stretch of the spine here. Using pillows underneath the pelvis or the tummy or the chest, wherever you might need that support. So everyone's shapes look a little bit different. Our elbows maybe are right below the shoulders. And we're getting some stretch down the torso and stretch of the lower back. The toes to the outer corners of your mat. If you have a block available, you can lower your forehead onto the block or your chin and get some support there. Still pressing the shoulders back whilst using that block. And then we breathe. If you're new to yoga practice, this might feel like a lot going on for you, and you are welcome to bring the arms further away from the body, lowering that curvature in the spine, or even rest your head all the way down into your hands. So remembering that this practice is really about taking care of yourself and compassion, being kind. And if you find today that these postures are not working for you, you can find a comfortable position or shape that does work for you and focus on your breathing, on your Sankalpa, and maybe on your mantra. On your inhale, may I be happy and open. And on your exhale, to what life brings me. Inhale, may I be happy and open. Exhale, to what life brings me. Three more breaths here. And then we'll lower down, head down into the hands. Soften the body, soften the face. From here, moving to a stretch for our shoulders, our broken wing stretch. So body is going to come over towards the right side of your mat. Left arm will extend from the shoulder. You can't see, I'll show you on this side. So coming out from the shoulder, so I'll do my right side first. And then we shift the body over. So I have my right arm extended. I'm shifting to the right, onto my right side. And options for your legs, you can bring the knees forward, or you could have your legs extended long, or you could have one foot bent and one straight. So it's a big shoulder stretch, and you're really controlling how much you're pushing into it. If you're leaning more down towards the mat on your chest, you'll have less stretch. If you push back towards that right side, you'll have a little more. The left arm could drape over the body, maybe tuck the fingers in under the waist if you want to add into that stretch. So I know with the new year, people generally like to think ahead and think about maybe changes that they want to make in their lives. But we don't just have to do it on January 1st or 2nd or 3rd, right? Every morning we wake up, each new day is a new opportunity. Really each moment, which brings us to our mindfulness, our opportunity to let go of the past and try to be in the moment, to be present, to experience fully the moment that we are in. That's often where we experience the most joy, the most presence, the most contentment. And we can be right here, right now. Good job. That's 2 minutes. Let's shift over to your belly. You can take any counter movement that you might need, maybe a little movement with the neck, shoulder shrugs, anything you need. And then we'll take it to the other side. Arm extends from the shoulder, and then we shift over. Either knees coming forward or legs extended, whatever feels comfortable and right for you. Even if that mantra isn't working for you tonight, you can always use a mantra of your own creation, an affirmation. On the in-breath, you can silently repeat to yourself, I am. And on the out-breath, whatever it is you want to cultivate. I am strong. I am healing. I am grateful. Content. Present. Whatever resonates with you. Allow your practice, allow this time to be a nurturing time. Good job. Let's release this. We'll roll over to the belly, and you're going to push back into a modified child's pose, knees together, and forehead coming down towards the knees, maybe releasing the arms back behind you and letting them go. We'll stretch the outside of the back here by reaching for the heels and bringing the forehead as close to the knees as we can. The top of the head is going to rest on the mat. We hold onto those heels, and then we lift up the hips and get a nice stretch in the lower back. Good. And rise up. Come up to your knees. Separate those knees about hip distance apart. We're going to do a little camel stretch. So your camel stretch, your hands can come to your waist, elbows pointing back behind you. Good. And lift the chin, press the hips forward, and drop your head back. So that's one variation. I always really feel this in my quads get so tight. So I feel a lot of stretch there. If you're able, you can turn your fingers so they're facing up on your back, and that encourages maybe a little lift of the back as we lean back. And then you can also reach hands either to a block behind you or to your heels. You can do one arm at a time. switching it out, or both hands. Whenever you feel you've had enough, you'll come back forward, back into that modified child's that we were in. Knees together, head down to the mat, hands to the heels, or just arms behind you for a moment. Finding a little equilibrium in the spine here. And then if you want to stretch the back again, bring that forehead as close to the knees as you can. Hold onto your heels, squeeze heels together, and we lift up. So you feel this tension in the arms, holding onto the heels. There's really little weight on the head, so you're not straining the neck. And release. Rising up. Good job. Let's move into some stretch for the hips. Tabletop position. We'll bring that right knee to the outside edge of the mat. This is a swan pose. Curl your left toes under, lift the knee up, push the heel back, and lower your extended leg long onto the mat. And then you can start with a little swan position, upright. And when you're ready, you'll go down into sleeping swan. Coming down to forearms, maybe using a pillow or a block to support your head or your arms. You can even use a pillow right under the belly here if that would feel supportive and maybe a little bit more of a restorative posture for you. What's your body craving tonight? We try to keep our hip bones squared to the mat, so they're facing down. If you need a little bit more support, you could have a block or stacked blankets or pillows under that right hip, but the hip of the bent leg. And if you've been practicing for a while, you may want to adjust where your foot is. So with people with very open hips, this leg, the shin might even be parallel to the mat, the top of the mat. So you can adjust the leg, see where you go, and for most people, the foot comes way back towards the center of the body, and there's no judgment. Yoga practice is just a tool that we use to help take care of ourselves. It's so rewarding for me when people really discover that, genuinely believe it. It's not about headstands or back bends and pretty pictures on Instagram. It's about carving out that time to take care of yourself, nurturing your body, finding the stillness, connecting with the inner peace that comes when we slow down, when we breathe deep. When we connect with that source. whatever that is for you. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Bottom of that 3rd breath. Take your time and move out of your shape. You can come to tabletop, maybe extend the legs behind you if that feels good, or you can take it up into downward facing dog. I always like that as a counter stretch, that upside down V, pushing the floor away. You can have a soft bend in the knees, stretching in the shoulders, maybe a 3-legged dog, lifting a leg and bending a knee. Or remain in the tabletop and move through cat-cow. Whatever feels good to you here. And when you're ready, we'll go. Oh, water break, good idea. Have water, sip if you need. Yep, you're a good hydrator, my friend. Okay, let's go to the other side. So that left knee to the outside edge of the mat. Extend your right leg long. Maybe play around with the positioning of that front leg. And you can stretch upright. I kind of like it when I have a block and I can really push away from the block and stretch the back and spine that way, getting a nice stretch of the abdominals and the psoas. So you're welcome to stay up in this if you like, in the upright position. And then whenever you're ready, you'll come down into your sleeping swan. Square your hips to the mat. That means both hip bones are pointing down towards the floor. And then we try to settle in, notice the breath, connect with the breath. Maybe we start to notice that this side of the body doesn't want to be in as deep as the other side of the body, or the opposite. So make those adjustments that you need to. May I be happy and open to what life brings me. 3 more breaths. When you feel ready, rise out of the pose and take some counter movement that feels good to you. Perhaps tabletop, cat-cow, perhaps downward facing dog, pedaling out seat, 3-legged dog. Whatever feels good. And we're going to try to get into the quadriceps next and stretch the top of the leg, the IT band a little bit. So hopefully you have some pillows or blocks that you can use. I'm going to stack these up here behind me. Now you can do this with both legs at the same time, but I'm going to show you with just one leg. So I'm going to bend one leg back. If this causes any pain in the joint, the foot doesn't have to be squeezing in, so you can have your foot a little bit looser for you. And then we're going to lean back. So you may be going to your forearms, so you can find some stretch there. With those pillows, maybe you can lean all the way back and find that stretch. If you have a lot of flexibility and you want to go with both legs at the same time, you're welcome to do that. You would bring the knees together and sit your hips onto the mat and then lower back, either to the floor or to your pillows. So see what you can find there. If none of these are working for you, then another modification or variation would be to lay on your side and reach back and hold on to the foot of the top leg. So I'll show you that real quick. So we could lie down and then hold on to that top leg and maybe pulling it back to get some stretch of the front of the leg. That feels good too. They all feel good. I'm going to go back into this hero's pose, or in yin it's called saddle. It's really nice with the pillows. Gives you some support. And we resolve to stillness in our shapes, but again, it's always okay to move when you need to. So maybe you need to back out of a pose, or maybe you need to take it deeper. Remembering that we never push into a boundary, right? We wait for the body's invitation to go deeper. As things start to open up. So I'm doing both legs at the same time, but I'm assuming you might be doing one leg at a time. So we'll take 3 more breaths on that first side. And then slowly and carefully come out of your shape. Bringing those legs in front of you and giving them a shake out. How was that for you? All right, and then we'll go back into it on the other side. So find that variation, and you may have a tender knee more so on one side than the other. So find whatever variation works for you. You can have one leg straight, one bent on the floor, or you could have your foot that's not getting stretched, have foot flat on the ground. Or you could be laying on your side and holding that top ankle up. If you're not on your forearms, if you're using pillows to support you, you might want to bring the arms overhead and grab onto opposite elbows, allowing for some opening, further opening of the shoulders and the upper body, the back, stimulating the energy flow, the chi flow of the lungs and the heart meridians. Maybe feeling some stretch of the abdominals, the front side of the body, the psoas muscles. Remember, no pain is necessary. So if it's too much, come out of the pose, please. Find something, a shape that works for you. Maybe lying on the back and the feet come up the wall again in that very relaxing pose. Three more breaths. And then coming out of the pose, however you can. And we'll stay on the back. You can move your supports out of the way. And maybe hug your knees into the chest and roll side to side. And then we will all go together in that feet up the wall pose, or toes to the sky, I like to call it when I'm outside. So this is a great one to use a pillow underneath your hips, if you have it available, or blanket. And lift those heels high. And let your arms come out to your sides. If you want to do a little pose that will increase compression in the internal organs, we can take it to snail. So you can stay here or you could take it up. It's essentially a shoulder stand and then bringing the toes overhead into plow. If you're new to shoulder stand, it's would be better, this pillow is actually a little too big, but to lift the shoulders up, giving a little more room in the neck. I'm going to show you, or with folded blankets. So this pillow is allowing for a little more space here. And then I would go up Elbows are on the ground, hips high. Keeping your gaze upward. Don't look over at the screen right now. We want to protect our necks here. And then if you want, the toes can fall overhead. In yoga, it's called Snail Pose. So just keeping your gaze steady above you, or close your eyes. Nice stretch of your lower back and compression for your internal organs. And slowly roll yourself back down. And we're going to go into that goddess pose or supported butterfly, reclined supported butterfly. So the soles of the feet will be together and the knees fall out open. And then in the back, you could have either a block or stack up pillows to lift up that upper back. So I'm going to add in my other pillow here. If you've practiced with me before, you know this is one of my favorite poses. Get a little more hip opening. We get a little lift and stretch in the back, opening up in the rib cage, opening up the heart, the lungs. Your arms can reach out to the sides, or you can lift those arms up overhead, grab onto the elbows. And if you want to add a little bit more torso stretch, we haven't done too much of that tonight. You could even, if you're sturdy with your support, lean that upper body to one side. You get a little more opening on that opposite side. And this certainly can be done without any support underneath the back as well. And if you're using a little stretch of the upper body to one side, let's take it to the other side now. Lower body stays the same. One more big inhale. We're going to release that. Move your support, staying on your back. Figure 4 stretch. Left foot on the ground, right foot on the thigh. And you can press that right leg out. That's one variation for you. And the other would be to lift the left leg off the ground. Let the hands go on either side of the left foot, left leg, interlace behind the hamstring or behind the shin. Not behind the shin, on top of the shin. You know what I meant. Breathing into the hips. Starting to connect with the body, the back, the shoulders on the earth. Noticing the head heavy on the mat. Observing the support you feel from the earth. Allowing yourself to feel loved and supported. Never alone. We're going to move from here into shoelace, so that right knee is going to cross over the left knee. And then your hands, you have different options here. You can bring your hands to your shins, maybe your hands to your feet, bringing them towards the body, being aware of the knee joints, not putting any extra strain on the knees. But maybe you're going to feel this deep into those hips, hamstrings. And extend the legs long, or you can let them come to the ground, bounce them out a bit. Maybe a couple breaths of stillness. Easing into left side stretch. Perhaps right foot on the mat, left foot on thigh, left hand pressing hip out. Or perhaps lifting the right leg up, hands to hamstring. You can find that stretch. Maybe the left elbow pressing out on the left leg a little bit, or maybe hands to shin. Connecting again with intention for practice, maybe Sankalpa. Maybe at this point in your practice, you're able to settle into presence, settle into acceptance in a loving and kind, compassionate place. Let's move to shoelace. The left leg crosses over the right, and hands to the shins or to the feet. You can do this shoelace sitting up and leaning down. It definitely puts more stress on the knee joints than this reclined version of it. Just take 3 more breaths. And we'll release those legs and take any movement that feels good. You can point the toes and flex them, circle the ankles. And then you're going to settle into your final pose of Shavasana. Extend the body long in your space. Let the feet fall to the outer corners of your mat, maybe using your pillow under the head or under the knees. Maybe grab a blanket. Dim your lights, whatever you can do to show yourself a little love here. We'll knit our shoulder blades together and then release your arms away from your body. Let your palms turn facing upward. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. If it helps to squeeze the fists and the feet and then let go, open them up and release. Notice your head heavy on the earth. Relax your closed eyes. Soften your face. Can you release your jaw? Maybe part your lips slightly. If you need to open the jaw wide and shift side to side to help you release any tension. And exhale through the mouth. Feel the air passing through the throat. The back, the shoulders heavy on the earth. The hips. Your legs are heavy. Your feet. All of you is supported. All of you is lovely. All of you is good. Are you holding on to tension anywhere? Can you scan, find that, and then let it go? In through the nose, out through the mouth or the nose. Your Shavasana is your final surrender. Your opportunity to let go. You're welcome to stay right where you are and enjoy this beautiful resting pose for a little bit longer. If you're ready, To close your practice, you'll wiggle the toes and fingers and roll to your sides. And take your time rising to seated. Bringing the palms together towards the heart. May you be blessed with strength in your bodies, peace in your minds, and love in your hearts. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.